Today's Holy Gospel comes to us from Matthew 25. Jesus tells a parable, a story about a second coming, indicating that it's not sufficient merely just to maintain things as they are. Those who await his return should make good use of the gifts that God has provided them. All right, let's dive into our story this morning. It's a bigger one, so hold on. So Jesus is telling the disciples, for it is as if a man going on a journey summoned his servants or slaves and entrusted his property to them. To one, he gave 5 talents, to another servant 2, and to another one 1, each according to his ability. Then he went away. The one who had received the 5 talents went off at once and traded with them and made 5 more talents. In the same way, the one who had the 2 talents made 2 more talents. But the one who had received the 1 talent went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of the slaves, of the servants, came and settled accounts with them. Then the one who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 more talents, saying, Master, you handed over to me 5 talents, and see, I've made 5 more. His master said to him, Well done, good and trustworthy slave. You have been trustworthy in a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. And the one with the 2 talents also came forward, saying, Master, you have handed over to me 2 talents. And see, I've made 2 more. His master said to him, Well done, good and trustworthy slave. You have been trustworthy in a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. Then the one who received the 1 talent also came forward, saying, Master, I knew that you were a harsh man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you did not scatter seed. So I was afraid. I went and I hid your talent in the ground. Here, you have what is yours. But his master replied, You wicked and lazy slave, you knew, did you, that I reap where I did not sow and gather where I did not scatter? Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and on my return, I would have received what was my own plus interest. So take the talent from him and give it to the one with the 10 talents. For to all those who have, more will be given, and they will have an abundance. But from those who have nothing, even what they have will be taken away. As for this worthless slave, throw him into outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. The gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. Okay, I love these uplifting Bible parables, don't you? Nothing better than closing a sermon with, there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So like many stories in the Bible, removed from its surrounding context, it's a super strange story to tell. Jesus is telling his disciples about the end times. This is what's known as apocalyptic literature. And Jesus is giving us a spoiler for the end of our movie. Jesus is telling a story that has this amazing capability to encompass an entire life. And while the story focuses on money, through it, Jesus is explaining that our time on earth is finite. And while we're here, we are given a choice on how to spend it. The wealthy landowner in the story goes on a long trip and gives his servants talents. These aren't talents like unicycle riding or juggling, but in the first century, a talent was an incredibly large sum of money. As a unit of currency, a talent was worth about 6,000 denarii, and a denarii was the usual payment for an entire day's worth of labor. So at 1 denarii per day, a single talent was therefore worth about 16 years of labor. So to the first servant, he gives 80 years worth of salary. And the second gets 32 years worth of salary. And the third one gets 1 talent, which is still 16 years worth of salary. So even the last servant is given an enormous amount of money. The first 2 servants double their money. But the last one gets nervous and digs a hole and only returns to the landowner the same amount that he was given, that he started with. Now, the point here is not really about doubling your money or accumulating wealth. It is about how you live. The first 2 swung for the fences. They risked, they invested, and they made money on their money. The last one just played it safe. Didn't do anything but wait for the landowner to return. And the landowner returns and is really pleased with the first 2 servants. But in no uncertain terms, tells the last one that he missed the point. Here's the point for you and me. You and I have been given an incredible, enormous gift. Time. And no matter how much time we've been given, God doesn't want us to squander, to waste this amazing gift. We don't want to miss the point of this gift. We need to invest, be wise, and use this gift of time God has given us. So this morning, how does one invest time? Well, there's some good news this morning. The Bible does not leave us stranded. God says the wisest investment of your time is people. People is always the best investment for the gift of time that you have been given. It's the starting and growing of relationships that we've been put here on earth to do. Not only that, but we've been called to find people that are not relationally connected, that are not in community, and get them connected. How many people do you know that are trying and failing to invest their time, their lives, in all the wrong stuff? Stuff that won't give them the real return. They're working themselves to the bone or looking for fulfillment and coming up empty, thinking that a bigger house, a shinier car, a bigger retirement nest egg will finally make them happy. But you and I, we're given a spoiler. You and I know the end of the story. See, none of this stuff is coming with us. What actually matters is people. It pays the most dividends in the long run of history. Maybe this strange time we find ourselves in can be a gift in a way. A time to take stock of our current investment strategy. You're supposed to do that when you invest. Pause now and then and look at the trajectory of your investments. And if it's not working, switch stuff around. So this morning, how is your relational portfolio? Are you investing in friendships that grow richer over time? Are you reaching out and giving as much or more than you expect to get from friendships? Or are you looking to expand your relational connectivity? Or better yet, what is God asking you to invest your time and effort in? If your current portfolio of time management doesn't reflect who you want to be and who God has called you to be, then maybe this is the time for you to switch some things around. But what about the pandemic, Colin? I'm stuck in my house. how do we connect in such a strange time? I agree. I think it's so tempting to slam the bunker door and wait till this is all over and deal with deepening our relationships at another time. But I have a feeling that we would resemble more closely the last servant in Christ's story if we did. I don't think that'd be a really good move, a wise move, with what God has given us. And I got to tell you, this is not the first time that Jesus' followers have faced complication and adversity in accomplishing their God-given mission. People have had to live out their faith in plagues, wars, persecution. Jesus' followers have had to live out their faith in all of these circumstances. In fact, these are actually the times where Christianity has experienced the most growth, when our ingenuity to connect is tested, where Jesus' followers were given a choice in a stressful time to either bunker up, hold up, and wait, or live out their faith in the most difficult times. I don't think that I'm far off this morning in saying that the needs of people, our community, are incredibly great right now. People need to be taken care of, reached out to. The need is enormous right now. I want to tell you that you offer the exact thing that lonely, isolated, scared people need right now. You offer the most valuable thing on earth: your time. You don't need therapeutic qualifications or answers to hard questions. All you need to do is offer your time. Don't let space and distance stop you. We have phones and email, and of all things now, FaceTime and Zoom. We have this beautiful gift of technology. It's not my first preference. I would absolutely love to be eating pulla bread and chili and sipping coffee in the fellowship hall. But those options just aren't there right now. But we do have technology that can bridge this gap. Wouldn't it be wonderful if all this tech, all this interconnectivity that has been used to divide and polarize our nation, wouldn't it be great if we turned it on its head and used it to reach out to as many people as we could? Started connecting through time and relationship, a split apart world. And I think this morning it starts with you. So here's my challenge. Sometime this week, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil, and I want you to pray. I want you to literally bow your head over this piece of paper and sit in silence. Give God some space to talk to you. And ask God to direct and guide your thoughts, and pray a fairly dangerous prayer. Actually, I think it's one of the most dangerous prayers that you can pray. It's 3 words. God, use me. Say it with me. God, use me. I want you to ask God who he wants you to reach out to. Is there someone that needs you to call them, email them, or share a virtual coffee with? What relationship have you stopped investing in and maybe need to? Could be family, could be a friend, or even a past or current coworker. I don't know. I have no idea who God will bring up to you. But I have this sneaking suspicion that God will. I want you to write down each name. And here's your practical goal. Just connect with one person each day. You could do more if you'd like, but to make it reachable, to make it a goal, to just once a day reach out and invest in the most precious gift we've been given.